But to go, because they're traveling or whatever else. But to go and make the whole Geirus on Zoom, even if there are shitas that you can do it, why? Unless you get a clear psak from someone who is Manda Amar, you're asking for trouble, and so that's why I've distanced myself rabbinically from. I'm still friends with Moshe Otero, but I whatever meager worth my, not really worth much smicha it could be, that I'm giving l'shem mitzvah to a friend of mine, or either other people I've given smicha to. Sof kol sof. Not that it's worth that much, but the fact that I revoked it from Moshe, it's because not because he's it's that one issue of the virtual, and I think Kedushin also he's doing virtually. And I've asked my Rebbeim, they said that one of my Rebbeim said like this. I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want these gangsters to start harassing him. People know who I'm talking about. He said that how he understands, psak from Chacham Avadia, that he was a Talmud Mufilk of Chacham Avadia, is that Mesader Kedushin, or even people saying Sheva Brachas is a different issue, could be on Zoom. But the Eidei Kedushin, because they are Eidei Kiyum, should be in person. It's not saying that it's possible, and the same thing. You're making these geiros with the Zoom. It's betur suffix. I'm not saying that these geiros are possible. Anybody who made such a geiros is chayev if he's a man to put on tefillin every day, and a man or a woman, they're chayev to keep Shabbos, keep kosher. They're chayev in all the mitzvahs. It's just that the kehila should not be mekabel such a person that made the geiros in such a way, lefia niyas daiti, and the same. They should make a ger l'chumra, and they are mechuyev to make a ger l'chumra. The same thing. I spoke to Eliach Avila, and he said he went to the mikveh before his chasana, right? And there were other people there. So it would seem, according to the Rambam, he's chayiv b'chol mitzvahs. He's definitely chayiv b'chol mitzvahs, because Torah suffix. The whole thing of akum sheshavas, he's not b'teres akum, because he toivelt zich before his chasna. Now, was the kedushin chal? I would say it's b'teres suffix as to whether or not the kedushin is chal. Lefia niyas daiti, to the point where if there was such a case and they didn't want to stay together, I'm not talking about his case. I don't know. I'm not talking about. But I'm saying in general, they would have to give a get. Asher Meza, he converted conservative before he converted Orthodox, and he was married to a woman who also converted conservative. And the Orthodox Beis Din said that he had to give a get from the conservative marriage. So it shows that there is something. There's some Torah suffix meikar adin, and that's what also Rav Lev told us in yeshiva. That if someone converts with a conservative Beis Din, they are suffix Jewish, meaning you cannot use them for Shabbos goy. They're chayav to keep Shabbos. They're chayav to do all the mitzvahs, but you shouldn't give them aliyah. You probably shouldn't count them for a minyan. Although I'm of the opinion, and some of my rebbeim are of the opinion, that you could count them to be a Asiri L'Kodesh, that they could be the 10th to the minyan, just like we count the cotton, because Rabbi Hishcher is Avdei. Few of my rebbeim have expressed this opinion that you could count a conservative ger to be the 10th for a minyan. So other things. So anyway, that's the whole story. It's time for me to go. I have to learn. Baruch Hashem, I davened already. I should eat something also. But I feel this is an important message, and just to summarize the message is that if you made it this far, is that again, if they were just attacking us, all right, we're big boys, we can defend ourselves, and maybe reflect on do we have to change? But the fact that they're attacking the chief rabbis of England, meaning again, if Rav Sternbach makes a pashkavil, let's say he did say this, that's for the Eidach Haredis. He didn't mean that to go on the internet. He didn't mean that to be he didn't mean that to go on YouTube. That's the other thing that, again, and I don't mean to pick on you, but it's only because I love you and I expect more from you. But Reb Reuven Teller, Medaf Osler, there's a nafkamina between Bus Meretzach Rhein and Williamsburg, and people giving Musar, to Balabatim and Williamsburg, or maybe you need a little bit of Musar, and the big Rabbonim, the big Rebbes and Dayanim giving Musar. That type of stuff is for Williamsburg. Meaning to go and say, oh, these women, they're going to be burning in hell with their sheitlach. My wife doesn't wear sheitl. My wife wears a tzigabet, and she goes to not even a spitzel, just a tichel with a turban liner, like the frummer ladies in Williamsburg and Monroe. But just because that's how we go, I'm not going to say, and she's not going to say, that someone in Lakewood who wears a sheitel is a choyta machtis arabin. And they're going to burn in hell with the sheitlach. Come on. When the Shinover Rav said that, when the Sanzer Rav said that, he said that for the people who were making a yerida. You have to understand the difference between the logos and the mythos. That's the key to all of these extremism on both sides. Meaning, the extremists, what we might want to say on the right, the Hasidic right, or the Sephardi right, think that mythos is logos, and it's not. And the people on the left, people like my friend Rabbi Shemeza, they want to throw out the mythos and only have logos and no mythos. And the spiritually healthy approach is that balance between the two. That's the way of Rabbi Ariel Bar Tzadok and others, and that was the way of Argadolim. Is that meaning? Well, if the Sanzaruf said that someone who doesn't believe that the Arachayim HaKodesh is written Baruch HaKodesh is a kofer, is not bikaras, he did not mean that halachically. He meant that colloquially. There's a nafkamina between the halachic and the colloquial, between the logos, the halachic logos, and the colloquial mythos, the al derech hagadita, al derech hagada. There's a nafkamina. Mythos is a gewaltige Zach. It's of a hechere darga, but it's soides Torah, but it's not logos. It's not halacha. Ein halacha karebi Shimon. So now I got on fire, But and the same thing, Satmar Rav, in his tremendous wisdom. He was the Maradasra of the Gans Shtut Satmar, where my ancestors lived for a few generations. And he was the Rav in Krula, which is part of the Satmar County, where my ancestors were Rabbanim. In Krula and Chenger, which were in the Satmar County. And I had ancestors who were Rabbanim in Krula and Chenger. But Satmar Rav, they say like this: when he would speak in the Hasidic shul, he would say, what a big aver it is to wear shaitim. And And when you speak in the Ashkenazic shul, he would say what a mitzvah is to wear sheitel. Why? Because in the Hasidic shul, right, the ladies who their mothers wore tichlach were putting on sheitlach, right? And so they were going down. It was a yerida for them. Whereas in the Ashkenazic shul, es gewein Frauen was gegangen mit eigener Hure, right? So there were women who weren't covering their hair at all, which again we could say that the tshuva from a Mishash, it goes by the culture of the, but in that culture, that's already put together. Meaning you want to say in Morocco, where people are barely frum, right? Because of the French influence became so strong, and they lost so much of their Yiddishkeit, and they're holding on, and if they're still Shomer Shabbos and Shomer Kashrut, Baruch Hashem, there were big tzaddikim in Morocco also. But I'm saying, by the time when Rav Mishash was writing, he was a fardarba in the Kehila, so he had to be Melamed Zchus on the people who in the Zalbazach, in the Upper West Side, or in Teaneck, although now most people they are covering their hair, but if sof kol sof, they're not covering their hair, Mahat of Vayman for Lozich, right? But if you're going to live in Borough Park or Monsey and not cover your hair, that's a showing. That's already you're already chutz l'machana, right? Because it's a social construct, and All right, it's very late. I have to chaperine some Torah. Thank you so much, especially you made it this long. Thank you so much for watching, and if Yaron Reuven or Yosef Mizrachi are watching this Chazor Bach, you can have your shita. I'm not saying that you shouldn't believe what you believe, just like, of course, the Rabbonim from the... What is he doing? Why does he have to be all the way over here? Now there's no room to get over. This is... Anyway, Chazor Bach, meaning not to say you give up your shita. You be frum like you want to be frum, and you want your Talmidim to be frum, but do it in a respectful way. That's the whole crux of the issue. Because again, like I said, we were defending you before, but you have to you have to be respectful. Derech Eretz Kadmol Torah. To go and say, and I spoke to Reuven Teller about this. You have to have derech eretz. He said, not for apikosim, I don't have to have derech eretz. Yes, you do. Rav Yaakov Emden and Rav Yodas and Eibeshitz, they fought and very strong, right? But both of them had something in common. They both were very respectful to the bishop in town. They were friendly with the Galochim. And like I said, when Chassam Sofer would go see the bishop in Preshberg, and Ungatin Big Day Shabbos, to show his respect for the bishop. A different religion, they showed respect. This is the way of our Gedolim. Of course we disagree with their religion. It's a different religion. That's not our religion. And we believe ours is the emes and theirs is sheker. And they believe theirs is emes and ours is sheker. But we can believe that and be true to who we are without being disrespectful to other people. And I know maybe it's not someone who's a manda amr to you, but several of my rebbeim were talmidim of his. Rav Soloveitchik, he would be sitting at banquet dinners in Boston with the Archbishop of Boston, or the Cardinal, whatever in Boston. That's derech eretz, and that's the same reason why the chief rabbis in England, they're friendly with Archbishop of Canterbury and whoever else, because that's your job. When you are, and the same thing when Rav Avadia Yosef, he made a necklace that had on it the Shnei Luchas Abris. Why? This way, that he is the same way lahavdil when if he's visiting a bishop, a cardinal, the pope, and they are wearing a crucifix, or cross, whatever they wear. There's a difference between the two, right? And so he was wearing Shnei Luchas Bris, and so he gave to his son, who's now the chief rabbi in Israel, now the Rishon LeZion, to wear when he goes to visit the Pope or whoever else, the Shnei Luchas Bris, the tablets of the law, the tablets of the covenant, the 2 tablets of the covenant, the 10 commandments. He had such a thing made to show his authority and respect, his own authority and the respect for the others. And that's how, when Zen zwischen sich, it's a different story. But when you are representing the same thing, Senator Schumer, lahavdil, he went to go visit the Satmar Rebbe, right? Satmar Rebbe knows Senator Schumer is a menuvel shemenuvalim. He's the avi of a satuma, and he's a real koifer, and he's a dangerous person. But self-called tzrichim loy, Rabbim tzrichim loy. We need him. We can't be. And not only that, you have to show respect to the position. You have to show respect to the office, right? Even though we disagree with him on any number of things, and he basically called us all racist. We all voted for President Trump, so he hates us. But we showed mutual respect because derech eretz kadmon l'Torah. That's how you act, And as much as I detest Biden, I would show respect to the office. If for some reason, he came to visit, he wanted to come visit the prison, something, I show respect. I showed respect for Governor Wolf when I met him. And even though I disagree with him, he's a nicer person. I don't hate him. I disagree with him very strongly. But I show respect. And the same thing, you show respect. And the same thing is for a Reform rabbi, a conservative rabbi. We can respectfully disagree, and we can strongly disagree, but there has to be respect. Derech eretz kadmon l'Torah. That is my point, and that's one thing. Asher Meza always shows respect, meaning he belongs to a shul where he belongs. He shows respect to the Rav. He's machnia to the Rav. When he was in my shul, he was machnia to whatever my das Torah was, al tzruv in Bais Medrash. He didn't push his agenda, he pushed my agenda. Another thing to show his ehrlichkeit, because people are like, he gave you money. Then many years ago, he helped to open a Bais Medrash. He wanted a Bais Medrash that was only for Shomer Shabbos. That's why he paid my rent, him and some other Galite together, they paid my rent. We were trying to open a Bais Medrash because he wanted a Bais Medrash of only Shomer Shabbos. And there was no such thing in Richmond. There was a Bais Medrash of only Shomer Shabbos. And that was really what it came down to. And if we daven without a minyan, so we daven together without a minyan. We're only going to be mitzaref Shomer Shabbos to the minyan. That's a frum azach. That's something that Rabbi Mizrachi would push. That's something that Rabbi Reuven would push. You guys don't know that. Now I belong to Bais Medrash where we're mitzaref people who we assume they did tshuva when they walked in the door. If we have to. Generally we don't have to. Generally we have a minyan for Shomer Shabbos. But if we need, we for lazich of Moshe, or for lazich of Chacham Avadia. Someone comes in and says, Baruch Atah Hashem, Mekadesh Shabbos, they're part of Klal Yisrael. So, thank you for watching. God bless you. Like, share, subscribe, comment. We'll see you later.